You guys. Hope you hit the play button above. Very good. We're here. Hey, everybody, welcome. We are at the top. And here for session 2 of the Entertainers Reentry Workshop. After that crazy run we had. What about that run? And I want to let you all know up top that I'm very sensitive that this is a somewhat US-centric presentation about being back. I have dear friends in Canada and other parts of the world that not even talking about that yet. And a lot of the entertainers that we get to work with here in ShowBiz Blueprint are in this country. And the ones who are in Canada and Europe, Australia, New Zealand, getting ready to move forward. Just an ideal time for us to dig into that reentry workshop and that mindset as we head into what is the future for everyone on this call and the audiences that are waiting for us. Good, let me head over to this. We're going to dig into the Entertainers Reentry Workshop. The Entertainers action steps are the big focus today because action attracts attention in this world. You, talking to you are not an act. You are a leader in action. And that's where we're going today. I'm going to talk all about action. I'm going to recap a little bit. I'm going to do a tad of preparation. As I said in session 1, I hope you got to see session 1. I can't just layer in good conscience. It would be malpractice to just layer a whole bunch of new stuff onto the belief systems that have been drowning out culture for the last 15 months. In session 1, we undid a whole bunch of that. We had a worksheet and we got clear on it. I hope you did that work. Everything we do today is going to land a lot more powerfully if you indeed did that work. So to get the most from this, use the worksheet in real time. There's a button right underneath this video player. You can see it down there. It says download the worksheet for number 2. You can print it, save a copy, download it, scribble, anything except mark up that one. It won't let you do that. And if you are in a situation where you're watching this from a phone, don't have the ability to do any of that, follow along closely and get something to write with. I don't care if it's notes in your notepad, in your notepad app in your phone, whatever it is. We all do that kind of things very differently. But find a way to make a commitment to do the work in this workshop. This is certainly not about watching. If this was about watching, I'd be better looking and all that stuff. So stay open to a brighter future. I mentioned that the other day. Please make a commitment to yourself to attend session 3 on Saturday. We're going to talk about your new future going forward and what the world looks like when you understand the opportunity and are taking constant action steps. And on this chat today, please, the lovely and talented Annie is here helping me with keep track of questions as things come up. We can bring them up in real time if they're pertinent, and also do a Q&A session at the end. It's maybe more effective so we stay on flow. Very good. Takeaways. I wrote down a few that were in the chat that a few people sent me over Messenger. I probably got about, 24 of just what people took away, and I wrote down just a few that were really jumped out at me. Not be afraid to create something new. That the biggest obstacle is inertia. And how understandable is that after 15 months of doing this? That 15 months can set in a whole lot of inertia. Somebody wrote they just closed their browser with all tabs related to news. Not a bad idea. Doesn't really have anything to do with what you're creating and what we're doing here in this world. Yeah, so shut those down. You know, it's impossible in this world. It's impossible in this world to be completely blind to something. Unless you live like on a farm or Unabomber style, it's impossible that you could not hear about something. What news does is it offers it in a way that makes it so addictive and seems so important, and it can overrun what we're really here to do as entertainers. And that's the antidote to what we're doing here. Someone said to finally create the show I've wanted for the last 20 years. Is that a miracle? And somebody wrote out that they grabbed this quote. It was never about price. It's a mismatch between the audience and the offer. Yeah, 5 good takeaways out of, 20, 30, I forget. I was going through them and picking out, but these really symbolized what we're doing here and why we're doing it. So quick introduction. I'm Barry Friedman, one half of the Raspini Brothers, and you guys know this. Some people are joining today, though. I retired after 34 years of performing in November of 2016. Imagine that. Been coaching entertainers since 2009. Running ShowBiz Blueprint once or twice a year since 2011. Once a year for the last 5 years. It's so much work. Dig all into that. go with the heart and soul and everybody in it. We dance for 8 good weeks. 16th edition is happening in 2021. Make no mistake, I'm giving it all away in this workshop, and there's going to be some people that want to continue on and do more work together, and I'll be offering ShowBiz Blueprint, the 16th edition of it, at the end of this workshop, if that's something you'd like to continue with. Hey, to be successful, I want to talk about this today. You must over-deliver, and I'm talking about radical over-delivery. That's pre-pandemic and way back to the very beginning. Everything that I did in the entertainment business, all the opportunities I got, some of the markets that I specialize in barely existed when I started, and I helped set the bar of over-delivering, and I'm both grateful to that, and I apologize if you're not doing it. The bar has been set pretty high, but you must radically over-deliver from the very beginning, before the booking, during the show, after the show, forever, always, yes. Have to over-deliver. That is where it's at. We live in a world where reviews and returns are so the norm. You know, if you don't like something, send it back, write a bad review online. And sadly, it's a bit the same. So going into it with a mindset of I have to over-deliver. I know what I have to do, and I'm going to do more than that, will set you up for radical success. Hey, you want to see something? Look at this. Art of ridiculousness. I'm going to show you a super quick example. Here we go. I was just talking to my wife about this. Well, I got to turn a little volume up so I can hear this too. Here we go. Oh, wait. 1 second. Let me get that back to the beginning. Oh, you guys, we're about to see what over-delivery looks like in its most radical form. Let's try
friend
this.
Chris Farley.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God!
Here it comes.
Yeah. How you doing, buddy? Here, let me help you with that. You busted your microphone.
Here it comes.
Dave, do you ever have shooting pains in your arm and chest? You all right?
Let me fix you right up, son.
Oh, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe you should cut back on the candy.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
The holidays
This
were
is the
brutal.
moment.
I've done this show an awful long time. That right there, sir, enjoy this, was the finest entrance a guest has ever made.
Yeah. There it is. The finest entrance a guest has ever made. That's over delivery, man. Sure. Sadly, of course, we all know Chris died at 33 years old. But what an impact! What a way to play! What a way that he chose to over deliver every single time. Didn't matter what he was doing. So I want to talk a little bit about over delivery today and the action steps we can do to get there and be that person ourselves. So I'm going to ask you something here. If you could check in for a second, open yourself up to growth a little bit. When we're in action, we are unlimited. If you can accept that, we can really go forward in this. But when you are in action, you are unlimited. Today is about taking action and over delivering. And that's going to come from us being of a place of abundance, not lack. When we're in lack, it's almost impossible to be in action, and certainly impossible to be unlimited. So what I want to focus our entire next hour on is, what is it like when we are in action, unlimited, and over delivering? You know what? We light up the inside and we shine on the outside. That's what it is. If we can be light on the inside, we will shine bright. So I want to challenge you guys right now, type in something you're grateful for right now. Just grab the comments. I don't care if you're named on here, if you're hiding in the background as a lurker, a lot of people lurking in the background. Take a risk. Make up a fake name if you need to for the chat. But type in something you're grateful right now. This starts from the very beginning. I told you this was a workshop. And if you're going to watch, it's going to leave you with a feeling of dissatisfaction. So type in something that you are grateful for. Not the weather. Make it family, work, health, life-related, relationship. Yeah.
There's a delay because you're still talking about the commercial.
Was there a commercial? No.
I mean, the...
Oh, yeah, Farley. Yeah, perfect. There we go. Something to do every day. Hey, Magic Berry, good to see you. Yuri, great to see you, man. Grant money. Awesome, Yuri. Yeah, so bring up those things you're grateful for. Feel them inside of you and pick one and put it in the chat. I want to see a roll here. Ground zero. Ground zero for turning on our own light is acknowledging that which we are grateful for in our life every single day. I'm grateful for her. The woman right there I'm pointing at. 35 years of support, trust. Even when I made it hard. Even when I made it hard. All right. Virtual show today. Awesome. Yeah, I get to do what I do for my livelihood. Beautiful. Wife, kids, health. Oh, man, Paul, 4 grandkids over the last 16 months, man. What a memory that is. Think of all the millions of miles Paul Gertner's body would have moved around while those grandkids were growing up too. Yeah, grateful for that. Keep those coming. I love to look down and see those. You guys and gals, awesome. Hey, Mark, good to see you guys. Tim, great to see you, man. Good, so we have that. With that out on the table, wonderful. Supply and demand is our leader, you guys. I want to say something right now. This next little section is going to be a tad of a rant in support of us and who we are. Entertainers, we are superheroes, right? We are this crazy ass subset of culture, just a ridiculous subset of culture. We make decisions that make no sense to the outside world. Just ask anyone in any of your families if it makes sense what you do. Yet, we are the ones they talk about when the family gets together. We're the ones that your brother or sister's friends ask about. Hey, what's your brother doing? What's that guy doing? It never fails. It always shows up. We inspire, we engage, we create these lifelong, worldwide, global ripples. And we connect people with our talent in ways that the world will always need. Especially right now, it always needs this type of entertainment and what we do. We are recession and outsource proof. We're never obsolete. Impossible that we will ever be obsolete. Hold that as a reality. And we have to be the brightest versions of ourselves. We have to be the brightest versions of ourselves. That's on the worksheet. If you guys are going through this, what do we have to be? And we left a space to write the brightest versions of ourselves. We have no choice. And that means to be in action. When we are in action, there's a lot of activity around us. We move. We make stuff happen. We create light and we lift spirits. So the invitation is to look at business, the business side of show business, exactly what we always talk about here, the business side of it as a practice, just like a doctor or a lawyer does. They're practicing it. We add or subtract with every single opportunity, every learning experience. Use the worksheet that you did in part 1 as a guide to tell you where the opportunities are, to remind you why you're doing this, to bring you up when you're feeling down, and to keep you focused. You wrote so much good work in that first worksheet. Keep that handy. So I want to just talk 1 second about perfection. It is this safety blanket that is moldy as hell. We don't get the benefit of using that little security blanket anymore. The last 15, 16 months have knocked that away for good. You want to smell really old? Market the exact same way you marketed before this thing. With the same attitudes. with the same laissez-fairness, with the same waiting for the phone to ring attitude. Not going to happen. Those who meet clients where they're at are going to win, and that's what we're going to dig in today. Get rid of perfection and focus instead on good, wonderful, completed. Yeah, powerful words to kick between. Let go of that which has proven ineffective for your life. Action step, let go of that which has proven ineffective in your life. And for that, I'm talking about everything and anything. Annie and I just finished a move after 18 years of living in one place where we raised our son and his entire life in this house. Good practice in letting go. Relationships, stuff, jokes, habits, stories, old photo albums, whatever it was. How do you get rid of things? How do you let go? You get honest with yourself that it's proven ineffective. It's been proven. The experiment's over. Got it. Done. All of it is going to move you towards the ability to take more pointed and powerful action. So the current state of the sale, options are everywhere, and they're going to be coming out of the woodwork like crazy and gangbusters right now, post-pandemic. Some people asked in the questionnaires that I showed the other day, do we have to start dropping our prices because of the influx of people who are going to be working? Not a chance. Don't even think of that. Definitely the wrong category to be looking in. But options are going to be everywhere. And what that means is expectations are going to be brutally high. Attention spans are going to be fuse length short. It's going to happen quick. And as you talk to prospects, as you talk to those who you've worked for in the past, as you talk to producers who have many contacts that could move you forward, you have to earn your first standing ovation from them, right? The person who's going to buy you, that is the very first standing ovation you have to earn. And modern sales, what we've gotten very used to in this post-pandemic time is slick and frictionless. There's no room for friction, and it has to be just Amazon smooth, I will say. Let me put it that way. How close can we get to creating that experience where the reviews are there, the product description's there, the link comes up, it's got 20 pictures of it. By the time you buy something there, you don't really even know how much work you've saved. And you can press one click. How close can we get to a one-click booking experience? We're going to dig into that a little bit here today. And buyers cannot be fooled nowadays, right? Post-pandemic, they don't even know. As I think it was Danny the other day said, my clients really want to be assured that we're going back to life before we start talking about this. This is a tightrope situation, man. This is one you get to walk and pull tight as you're standing on it. This is the one where you get to be the light. And will it lead right to the booking at this point? I don't know. Can't say that for sure, but will it lead towards confidence and you being the bright light that's going to shine the second they get the okay? That's the guy who was on fire, keeping us going the whole time. Yeah. And heck, we all know where it's heading back. I mean, we know we are going to be heading back into these events and these conferences and these live shows and fairs. It's already starting to bubble. So let's let go of the illusion that what's happening now is anything close to permanent. That said, I will be updating everything I'm talking about in ShowBiz Blueprint with what's current right now. We're going to be doing interviews with producers who are back online, agents who are back online, acts who are working, everything that's working. And know that, as I showed the other day in this classic 1932 book, which is a bit of a Bible for me, John Capel's tested advertising method. Very little's changed in 32 years. Since 1932, I'm sorry, 90 years. Very little's changed in the story arc of advertising and selling. Almost nothing. So while buyers can't be fooled and want it all, it's our job to make it slick and frictionless, because on any website, anywhere you talk to them, that back button is the most appealing button on the page. They're always looking for a way to think this isn't right for me. It doesn't fit in. So you got to either move them forward or they're going to press back. Those are the two choices. So what this does to a buyer, most are lost in a sea of choices. They just don't know what to do, and they know if they make a decision, it may backfire. And guess what? They may get blamed for it. Horrifying thought. To that end, their default behavior is to lean into the simple objections. They see a picture of you with a little kid and they're trying to book a corporate event. No. They're trying to book you at a birthday party and they see a picture of you on some stage that doesn't look anything like them. No. Congruency is huge. So that's part of the slick and friction. Think if you're on Amazon and you saw a product being used, something you just couldn't even imagine. It's not your thing. So what's your price? That's where they'll move on to next. That's a great objection point. Oh, this is too expensive. Or the more one that's going on inside of the head, this is too cheap. I'm not trusting them with my audience. I'm going to talk about this in session 3 on Saturday. Be at that one, we're going to dig into price a little bit more. So the worst thing, they see you as part of the noise. It's too hard to decipher. It's too hard to even tell what you're doing. That's an action step we're going to clean up in a few minutes in this very session. This is a stopping point. This is a place that blocks the buyer, stops them dead in their tracks. So they continue to seek someone who is a solution, who's gotten rid of the friction, who shows themselves and the audience in situations where they would normally be. Did I just? No. They show themselves in situations where, let me kill that record. I'm sorry about that. They show themselves in situations where me as a buyer can picture. That looks like my audience. That looks like the kind of venue. That looks like my backyard. If I'm booking a birthday party show, if I'm booking a festival, that looks like my casino ballroom. How frictionless and how slick can we be to match the audience and the offer? Bottom end of the day, they become more jaded and doubtful that there's a solution out there. And I had some snarky thing as the next bullet point that said, and they eventually just get Bob from Human Resources to introduce the award ceremony. That's the fall from grace. These big visions, nothing matches, and they just go, "Hey, Bob, you've held a microphone before, haven't you?" And then he's presenting 14 awards over a 2-hour ceremony, and it's a nightmare. And where it hits you right in the face is your calendar remains empty. So there are a couple of reasons how and why we confuse buyers, and I'm setting this up. I'm giving context on all this because in the next part of this workshop here today, we are going to unravel a whole bunch of this, but you have to understand how bad the problem is, especially over the last 16 months and coming back. Mistakes we make is we open with our accomplishments, pictures of us with famous people that we've met, quotes from people who aren't like them, a history and venues that don't look like theirs, and we do this because we don't know better. And you guys, that's going to end right now. The most important place to be, we have to be inside of their heads. We have to interrupt that conversation that's going on right inside their head. It's funny, for probably the last 10 years of booking, we didn't highlight the Tonight Show, either Tonight Show with Johnny Carson or Jay Leno on our promo reel, because it wasn't showing, it wasn't in their head. Yeah, it was authority and it was in a quick flyby clip, but it's not the focus because it didn't look like them. They were trying to book a conference for 600 sales reps in Las Vegas. Our video coincidentally showed us performing for 600 sales reps in Las Vegas. That's the kind of matching. That's inside their head. So we know the opportunities exist, you guys. We dug into it. You wrote about it in your worksheet of part 1 of this workshop. And you've had a few days. So my question is, have you taken any risks? Did you identify any of the stuff that's incongruent with where you want to be? Did you turn off news? Did you shift some beliefs around? And today I want to ask you, can you identify speed bumps in your message? Can you identify anything in your message that already violates some of what I've talked about? Being out of line with the buyers you're talking to. What would it look like, your message, your conversations, your video? What would it look like if it was made for them? Them being the ones you're trying to sell to, exactly them, right? their demographic, their psychographic, the words they use, what they're used to seeing things look like. That is what matters right now. That's how you can break past the negative soundtrack that's been beaten down on us for well over a year now. Of fear, of scarcity, of division. Getting inside their head into that conversation. What does that look like if it was made for them? What if they saw that you were different from everyone else they were seeing right away? Even better, what if they hadn't even been looking and you show up? Because that's where this is heading. I like reaching out. I don't like waiting. So to that end, what if they saw that you were different right when you appeared in front of them? What are 2 or 3 points from your marketing message that have to go right now? I want to take a quick break and have you guys just write that down. You can throw it in the comments if you'd like, but certainly put it on your worksheet. What are 2 or 3 points that you're confusing a buyer with right now? Yeah. Right now. Is it your video? Do you have pictures on your website that confuse people? Does your website say, do corporate events, and is there a picture of you with a funny hat on twisting a balloon for a kid? Speed bump. What's getting in the way of the smooth and frictionless demonstration that you're different, that you understand that buyer? Yeah, get a handful of those down. Good. Hey, will you commit today? Because we're heading into this part of the... What's that?
One of the good ones. Isn't it not about you, it's all about them?
Yeah. Yep. It's all about... It's about them, not you, you mean?
Yeah, it says it's not about you, it's all about them.
Yep. It's all about you, not about them. Yeah. That's a big mistake.
Not about you.
Yeah. Right. Well, depending on who the you and them is, yeah.
Remember, it's not
It
about
can't
you.
be about me, the performer. It has to be about them, the client. Guaranteed. And boy, it's hard. It's sometimes really tricky to jump through your copy. Do this. This is a really fun thing to do. Look, get the first person pronouns, the I's, the me's, the my's. Get those. Hit Control F or Command F on your website and type in I space. Take a look. How many times is the word I in there? And what's a good exercise to turn that? I get paid a lot of money to do this for people with copywriting, believe it or not. This is a massive piece to turn it about them, not about me or my or I. And just about every sentence in the world can be turned to being about them with the tiniest bit of creativity. And boy, the copy that you show them shines when you do that. So what will you commit to? You're going to commit to getting a couple of these speed bumps out of your life, out of your copy? Those are in your worksheet. You got a place to write that down. I'd like to know that you are. If you're a match, they will say yes. They will say yes if you are a match.
And what to keep. Make us a keeper for them.
Make us a keeper. I love that. Nice comment. Hey, this email came in earlier and I wanted to share this with you guys. Why did I want to share it? Oh, he says never able to make these live, something about technical problems, whatever. The big piece was the clients want whatever it is you bring that connects their event in some way, that connects to their event in some way. I've never heard a client just say, we just want to be entertained. Amen. They always want the performance to relate to why they are gathered. And then down there at the end, what they want is for your performance to be in some way about them, about their story. It works every single time. Yeah, that was fantastic. I love that someone had called that back. That's the ticket. Make it about them. Hey, you know what? As good as it feels, as hard as we've worked on our act, as many millions of miles as we've moved our body around this space, for that hour, we are a tool that they use. We're a tool that they use. We're from Home Depot. It's pretty good. And I've gotten tools from Home Depot, so I can be their tool even better. That's what we are. For that hour, we are something to make their world a whole lot better. So yeah, remembering that, knowing that going in, doesn't that change the conversation? Here's what you really, really have to solve. You have to solve their fear of criticism of it coming from the bottom up that, holy cow, what was that, Bob? How'd you do that? A stigma of ruining the event. Career ending for some people, right? Even if it's a birthday party, if it's a festival, every single person who hires you has someone they have to answer to. That's a stigma you have to overcome, that you could possibly ruin the event. You have to overcome their story about who you are and what you do. Oh. Admission. We sold a juggling act for 34 years, and it was almost an unwritten bylaw that we never use the word juggler or juggling. That's hard. But man, it was so effective in keeping the conversation about them, the outcome that their audience had from the event. You know, magician is nowhere near as dirty a word as juggler. In fact, magician is somewhat embraced and loved. Just what it is, you know. Juggling had that weird little circus sound feel to it, and that it was going to be a 2-minute act and no one was going to understand it. So selling that without talking about juggling was very, but you got something, Kurt?
No,
Oh, yeah. So overcoming that story about who they are. How can they be authentic at their own event? And what I mean by authentic is how can they be so proud, you know, when you're presented like, I did this. This was my vision. That's the piece that we really have to solve for them. And that happens through the early stages of communication in the sales funnel. Are you just one more thing to worry about? You know, it's funny at a conference, you'd say it's a 3-day conference, and anyone who's worked conferences knows that there's about an agenda that's written every 10 minutes. Where is everybody? Where's the team? Where are the attendees? What's the emotional curve? They're usually color-coded. Are the people up? Are they in a slouch? Are they about to be educated? You know, it's all these different things going on. And what I love to tell people is for that hour, you don't have to worry about anything. Nothing. It's an hour off. It's a vacation in the middle of a highway. It's your own lane. Yeah, it's a pretty wild thing to be able to tell people, so that we're not just one more thing to worry about. The resistance they may face from others, that's another thing you have to solve for them. And the what if this goes wrong? Yeah, buts and what ifs, all those things that may come up. You just have to be able to hold those for people, turn them into benefits. More on that in just a second. These problems are stoppers for people. It's like, I gotta make this stop. Separating yourself from the pack. Are you willing to act like a leader? Look, I know it's easy for us right now to say, I'm a magician, I'm a juggler, I'm a ventriloquist, I'm a comedian, I'm a singer. Looking down the list of people who are here. And how you might title yourselves. Are you willing to act like a leader? Are you willing to show them a possibility, an opportunity that they may not even know exists yet? Are you willing to be a hero for them, to draw a line in the sand and let it be known that here is something that I or we do better than anyone else? Yeah, you can even say that. I wouldn't open with it, but it comes up. Here's something that we do and we've done for 20 years better than anybody else. Here are people that are just like you who are saying so. Doesn't have to be corporate, doesn't have to be big associations or trade shows. It could be a dozen moms in the Bay Area who have hired you. People who look like you saying that, yes, this is what he does. This is what she does better than anyone else. And here's a video of me doing it in front of them. Your search is now over. Go shower and hug your kids. I love that slide. If we can overcome that separates us from the pack. Grab your camera, get a shot of that. I'll make it full screen so you don't have to look at me. Take a look at that. How many of these can you check off if you grab a picture of that? That's the stuff of heroes, my friends. That's the stuff of heroes. And some of the languaging on there is also heroic language. Anyone who's dug into NLP will see that stuff works on a deeper level than just the words. Good. Love that stuff. Hey, look at this guy. This is so great. You'll never see a hero sitting still. I love this kid. He moves the thing up and watch the little kid's reaction. My dad's the greatest. So good. Yeah, so, hey, but, what if? What if? Here's the thing about what if. You right now are in the exact same quandary as your buyer. Yeah. You're saying, what if I can't deliver? What if I screw up the event? What if I screw up my career? What if I make proposals and nobody buys? What if, what if, what if? That death spot called what if. Nothing good in the what if land. I want to tell you, because your customers are thinking this on a deep level. This is an operating system for your customers. We don't live in an economy that rewards any of these things. Fear, waiting, apologetic website copy, or apologetic conversation, meek marketing, delays, copycats, the same old, out the door. Boring, unrelatable, making them think, unclear message, all of that stuff. I wrote those as fast as I could type. And there's another couple screens full of it if I want to write that. Stuff that this economy can no longer handle. No desire to work with this stuff anymore. This is our work. This is what we get to overcome. And guess what? All of these things right here, you get to overcome those for your client, and you also get to do what else? You get to overcome them for yourself. You get to overcome these in your own marketing and your messaging and your communications, your emails, your videos. You get to step into a place for your shelf life as a performer, whatever that is. There's outliers on here who have, in the 5-6 decade career spans. Not all of us have that. Some of us have a shorter shelf life. So for that time, my challenge to you is, how heroic can you be? How much of this can you overcome so that your clients have an easy, frictionless, slick yes? They're not going to wait for you to step up. They never have. They never will. The bottom line, don't be the big green bottle of medicine. And what I mean by that is, if you have I had a little corn on my toe. This is maybe too much information, but like last month I had a corn on my toe. And you go to the store and there's shelves and aisles of medicines, and they'll all probably do something for it. Ibuprofen will stop swelling, Motrin will stop the pain, some stuff. But there was one box that had like a picture that looked like my toe and like a 2-step thing of what you put on and wrapped around it. And it said relief in 4 days. And I was like, done. If it said 10 minutes, that may have been even better, but it said relief in 4 days. And it was true to its word. So the big green bottle of medicine, a nightmare. Don't be the guy that says I do it all for corporate events and kids parties and festivals. Whatever your audience is, I do it all. That's the big green bottle of medicine. And we're not doing that, because clients, I told you, don't care about you. They care about improving the result that they're hiring you to get. Will I be better off if I hire you instead of others? That's a quiet question going on in their mind at all times. Will I be better off if I hire you instead of somebody else? And everything you do has to congruently answer that question. Do it with light, leadership, and authority. Because we live, ladies and gentlemen, we live in the show me first economy. Was that Missouri? Yeah, Missouri on their license plate, the show me state. Just do it. Show them. Never waver. And you know what? You're going to get a lot of no's by doing this. You're going to get some no's. I'll just tell you right off the bat. And this goes to what I said the other day when I said, it's never about the money. It's a mismatch of the offer and the market. It's a mismatch. And as you refine your leadership, as you step into higher prices, more targeted marketing, there's going to be some people that rule themselves out. They opt out. But there's going to be a whole group that you never have ever met who are waiting to say, where you been? We've been waiting for you. Raspini Brothers started passing the hat, then 500, then 1,000, 2,500, 5,000, 7,500, 10,000, 12,500, 15, 20. Trade shows for 50K. It just kept growing. And what happened every time was we lost a bunch of clients and a whole bunch of new ones went, without saying the words, it's like, where you been? We've been waiting for you. And it was the price that separated us. More on that on Saturday for sure. Yeah. Change takes change. And it will change everything, no matter what. Change takes change. Let's spend a few minutes here on reverse engineering the yes. I'm just going to check real quick. Any questions that are pertinent, Annie?
Just some fun comments about you told us to collect the nose and
Cool.
adding value as opposed to being just a great entertainer.
Awesome. Great. Okay.
Glenn wants some corn, and here's one that's really you talking about the eyes.
Yeah. Talking about the eyes.
Yeah, here's one that Louis wants to get rid of all the rest he has, but go for one at the most. He said, "I want to be your next great memory."
I love that.
Because it's really about
That's about them. I want to be your next great memory. That's awesome. Really good. There are safe ways to use I. Don't get me wrong. You'll see some samples I show in a little while in this lesson, but sparingly. Be sparing with them, and make sure just like that one. Where does that sentence end up? It ends up about them and really something they want as a great memory. So that's wonderful. Love that. All into that. So let's spend a second here reverse engineering the yes. And Glenn said, I'm really big. Glenn's done a program with me, and I challenge people to collect no's. I do. I challenge people to collect no's because, as a coach, Rich Litvin, who I love studying with for many, many years, says, yeses live in the land of no. So you have to collect the no's. We have competitions for them in ShowBiz Blueprint. We have a 100 no competition. We have it's crazy. You got to start playing with this stuff like the game it is. And stop the scarcity mentality that I'm going to run out of clients. 7.5 billion people. You're not going to run out of clients. You're not going to run out of clients anytime soon. Experiment. Treat this like the practice that it is. Let's reverse engineer this yes for a second. Take what you know. Take what you know that they want from part 1 and 2. We talked about the opportunity, and so far today we've talked a whole lot about how we deliver, how we stay in their head. So mix those two, the opportunities that are out there and you staying in their head. Take what you know they want. And I want to give you an assignment to write, doodle, computer, video, or whatever. But get that biggest version of you into some sort of a reality, something you can picture. I am, put your name, who makes, what's that greatest dream you just talked about, the person who wrote that? What's that greatest dream? Who makes this for, who's the client? Real simple template. I am, my name, I make, what's the vision they have for themselves for this big event? For, who's the client? What a wonderful template. Just making that up out loud, actually. Really powerful template, though. I should get that written down at some point. That's a good one. We'll bring that in. It's a bit of a mission, isn't it? So as you're creating this, it may not be pretty at first. And there is a slew of talent in this world to make it look beautiful. Fiverr, Upwork, any outsourcing, Craigslist, the 15-year-old who lives in your house. Anyone who's good with this kind of technology can do more for you than you imagine. You can imagine it than you could ever do. My goal for anyone that I ever work with is, as much as possible, to stay in your zone of genius. Warren Buffett created a great list called the Avoid at All Costs list. The Avoid at All Costs list. And the goal in our business, especially where we are so specialized in the talent and the gifts we bring to the world and how they can't be duplicated through a college education or through a trade school, through reading a book, ain't going to happen. You are you and you're a limited resource. The more you can get off your plate, the more that you get to stay in that zone of genius. It's not true for many people in the world. Very true for you. So as you're doing this, dig deep. Don't apologize to anyone. Be that brightest version of yourself that we talked about at the very beginning of this. So let's make it real for a second here. This is going to be fun. Taking into account everything we've talked about. This is where the worksheet can come in super handy, by the way. I have all this listed on the worksheet just like this. Who do you best serve? Who do you best serve? Are they reachable and how? Yep. Spoiler alert, they're definitely reachable. Everyone is reachable right now. I can put a tweet up right now that Jeff Bezos, someone on his team, will see. I did that once as an experiment. There's a picture of Jeff Bezos signing my partner's butt at a TED conference. We did a funny bit about the right and wrong way to meet famous people at the TED conference. And there was a picture of me shaking hands with Martha Stewart. And then the next one cut to my partner, Dan, who was having Jeff Bezos sign his butt with a Sharpie. So it's funny. I posted that on Twitter a long time ago. And like word came back to me how much he laughed. So you can reach anyone. It's out there. And you don't need a picture of them autographing your partner's butt. But it doesn't hurt. Collect all the possible contact info you can. I have all these up. I want you to photograph this screen. This one's a big screen for you guys. Put this info into a usable layout for you. Refine it over the next week. And let's move to the next step. I tell you, I could make this really complicated, or I could make it drop dead simple for you. Which would you prefer? I think you probably prefer really simple, and that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you a second to dig into those. I gotta stick something on here real quick. Let me pop that in. Oh, sorry about that. Let me put this here, add this, and do it by paragraph. Okay. Good. Let me bring this up. Stop this. Stop it. There we go. So let's make this real. Step 2 now. First step was research, right? Boom. Research. Now we're going to talk about connection for a second. This is going to require you to do something that could be a little difficult, a little challenging, and hence the workshop part of this. It's time to take a professional inventory. Yeah, professional inventory. I want you to run everything that they'll see through an ego test. And this requires stepping out a little bit, out from yourself to whatever extent you can, but run what they'll see through an ego test. Is this about me or is this about them? Be brutally honest with yourself. Get out a highlighter, copy and paste, do whatever you can. Highlight the stuff that's about you. And if you say it's all about them, I don't want to see that website. Write. How short can you make it? This is part of the slick and frictionless. How short can you make the message that you need to deliver? Man, the websites I see sometimes, I can promise you, not even your mom is reading it. It's impossible. She can't love you that much. Can't love you that much. Short. And you know what's short is if you get you out of it, that really helps to tighten the copy. Listen. Note their words. Looking at their website, at their mission, at their advertising, at their social media. Listen what's important for every client you have. Again, doesn't matter the market. Doesn't matter if it's birthday parties, libraries, festivals, corporate, cruise ships, associations, trade shows. Listen to what they're saying. Most of the time, they'll write the copy for you. They'll write the copy for you. All you need to do is wrap a message around it. Don't sell. Don't overtalk. You ever read that? Maybe it was in Capel's book there, The Tested Advertising. No, it was another one. Oh, it's in this one, I think. You guys are ever around this area, look at my library. It's insane. I read a lot of marketing. This is one called Influence, Robert Cialdini. I never knew exactly how he said his name, but in this one I think it says, he who talks the most leaves with the product. He who talks the most leaves with the product. I know the product you don't want to leave with. Your act. Right? That's something we want to have them pick up. And then ask. This is a powerful question you can always ask anyone on a phone. How do you want the audience to feel before, during, and after the show? That is a mic drop. When I was booking my show and the regular conversations were going on and I felt like this needed a break, I would just say, hey, do you mind telling me how you would love the audience to feel before, during, and after the show? that does a couple things. It really does. It does a great couple things. It really puts me inside their head. It lets them reflect on something they've probably never even thought about on a conscious level. And guess what it does third? It kind of plants a seed that we're already doing a show for them in a really powerful way. It's a small beginning of a close. And then the goal of this connection, this is just a connection you're having with them at first. It may be a phone call. It might be an email series. It may be a series of texts. It might be something that happens in person. But the goal of this second stage is of connecting with someone is connection. And the goal on the outcome is that you want to get permission to propose a few ideas. And I put ... at the end of that because it may be for your event, for your party, for your conference, for your trade show. But you want to get them to say, yeah, let's talk about a couple ideas for this. Yeah. I got to change one more thing. It's a fire hose, guys. You catching this? I'm both sorry and not sorry.
What if someone doesn't know what market to target?
Yeah, if you don't know what market target, hold on to that one for the end. We'll definitely come back to that one. That's a great one. Yeah, what if I don't know?
I'll write the copy for that if you don't know.
Yeah. I bet you anything I just attacked that where I said listen to their words. If you're working, the first thing I did when we were booking corporate shows, first thing we did was we'd go read their mission statement, we'd read their ads, we would read their website copy, because guess what? That's where they put the stuff they actually care about. And the more of that can be worked into a casual connection or conversation, closer you are to winning. It's a beautiful thing. So let's go to proposal prep. This is kind of like 2A. This part is really simple if you've done the first two parts well. You're going to review everything in this presentation that I'm giving right now. You're going to go over and start over, or you're going to grab that worksheet because I've laid most of it out for you just so you can grab it and look. I always respect your time. When you're in ShowBiz Blueprint, you will see I always respect every minute. Every lesson's broken up into short minutes, which I can't say for some of the OGs who are on here. Paul Gertner, I think he was in the first or second round of ShowBiz Blueprint back in 2011. What were they, like, Paul, like 2-hour phone calls? Technology improved and I improved with it. But yeah, everything's broken up into small modules and small video lessons to get you the most. So review everything in this presentation right here today. I promise you everything in here will help in the next conversation you have with a prospect. Fix anything that violates the guidelines that I've set up for you here. Kill your darlings if you must. In writing, that's a great expression that says that little turn of phrase, that little sentence you love, that play on words, that, what's that called? Alliteration. Make sure it's about them and that it helps paint a picture. You may have to kill one or two of them. That's fine. That's what it is. Check that it's all about them and their outcome. And this applies to every single market that you can work, because I've worked them all, from parties to the streets, up to the White House, TV shows, corporates, O.J. Simpson jury. Yeah, all of them. It doesn't matter. Make sure that what you're talking about applies to them, gets inside their head a little bit. And then you can create a simple, clear web page that you can send them. And I think you guys may want to see an example of that. So I put one together here. Let me see where I have that. Yes. Oh yeah, here, let me show you this page. This is a really clear example of what I use. This is how I would propose something. Simple, clear example. I take all the information that I've gotten from that connection stage, that stage 2, and that's where I move into talking about this kind of thing. This is a really simple page. This, back in the day, back when the Raspini brothers were, when the early days of the web, this would be about a day of programming. I learned how to do some of it, but there was a couple people who did this stuff for us, but we were doing this stuff so before it was fashionable. I found a really, really, really ugly one that I share inside ShowBiz Blueprint. You'll love it. It's from like 2000 or something, 2001. It was so crazy. But tools to make them pretty right now are so simple. And I will be the first to tell you this is not pretty. 2016, this is when I stopped making these, when I retired. But right now you could make them so fancy. It's unbelievable. Just the page you're watching right now is a couple minutes to put together. Absolutely zero time and effort nowadays. So to that end, I just personal introduction. I put everything together in them. I made a nice little video here, which I'll show you guys. If you want to see that video, drop it in there and let me know. I talk about the links that I mentioned in the video above, and then I just do a really quick note. And guess what, you guys? Money is not a big apologetic sentence. It's a simple line item. It's a line item like everything else. What a pleasure. If you like what you see here, we'll bring our experience and expertise to ensure it's even more fun, customized, memorable for your valued vendors and retailers. This is who they told me was at this event when I talked to them, the vendors and retailers. Put a price, no apology, no big deal, no bullet point, no conditions, except for plus our rider, production rider, which is up here right above. You give that away. Here it is. And then just for fun, just another letter from someone just like them. I always modified this to be like someone from who was in an industry that they were in, had the same job title as the person I was talking to. And then just for fun, because I like having fun with things, I said, here's another one, just for good measures. So, real simple page. A template of this page that you build one time, you just modify for your people. Anyone say they want to see that video? Maybe not. Okay, that's fine. We don't have to see it. What is the next ShowBiz Blueprint? Yeah, so that's the simple landing page. Something like this is the simplest way you could possibly do to make a proposal after the research and after the conversation, the connection, the research, the connection, then the pre-proposal, and then the proposal. Simplest steps you can take. And remember, pre-proposal is like 2A. All right, just to get that clear, I was only teaching 3 pieces of that. Yeah, so that's the way to go. So that's a proposal prep. Did I do that? Yep, I did that one. Let me put this back up. Good. Oh, I think I forgot to, yeah, that's fine. Let me do one more thing here, actually. I want to talk about this proposal piece, and it's so important that you guys get this piece of it. This is, don't you love seeing stuff happen in real time? This is the world we live in right now. Scrappy's the new perfect. And that's what we do. We pivot and we go forward. I wasn't even doing this class until about 2 weeks ago, and I just saw the whole tide turn. So I'm happy to do this. That's a long way of saying that you're watching doing some editing, that normally when I put these videos out, they're recorded, but this is not the world to put out something recorded. This is the world to put things out in real time where people can see and feel and connect with you. How incongruent it would be for me to create something that's completely produced in a time when I'm telling you to get on the stick and make a difference. All right, let's talk about this proposal, making it real. Deliver your proposal sheet at least a day early. At least a day. Oh man, maybe there's a big delay. Some people are saying, let's see that video now. Yeah, let me come back to that. Deliver your proposal sheet at least a day before you say you'll do it. Everything counts. Show up as you're going to show up for them. We make this, sometimes there's this line between, oh, I'm professional now. I'm presenting. I'm doing this. And then I get to the show and there's a disconnection. There can never be a disconnection. The person that you're going to be for them on stage, be that person. You're going to be at the show an hour early. Be a day early with your proposal. These things all start working on very, very subtle levels. Everything counts. Show up like you're going to show up. Track the email if you're able. There's a program called Mixmax, which is a Gmail plugin. Tells you the second they open the email. Here's a pro tip. Follow up a few minutes after they open the email. If you happen to be there or near your computer, I get a little pop-up on mine that says so-and-so opened your email just now. I love that. Because I will often, in the day, this was the best thing in the world. And you wouldn't believe how many times this happened. I could track a dozen, which is, well over $150,000 of business that came because of this little trick. When it popped up, I'd give them like 2 minutes and I'd go, oh, I'm gonna call. And I would just call and get them on the phone and say, hey, I was just thinking about you, wanted to make sure you got that proposal. There was always this moment of surprise. Now people may be a little more suspicious about it, but who cares? And they may not be. But see, you're not gonna believe this. I have this on my screen. My line was always like, "Oh, that must mean we're supposed to work together." And then we just had that connection about it. And I'd walk them through it. We talk about it. I gave them time to watch the video, which were always about 1 minute, 37 seconds. And then just call them up and have that conversation. And so powerful. So if you can pull something like that off, great. It's an advanced hack. We certainly dig into that hardcore in ShowBiz Blueprint. And in 48 hours, if you haven't heard, you definitely follow up. Listen to what they say. Overcome any objections. Flip them to a benefit. You know, the worst thing you can do is just overcome an objection with your own words. Instead, if you can, the overcoming it, flipping it is always, that's a given. You have to do that in no matter what you're talking to someone about. You have to help them see the reality of it. But then always look for how to turn that to a benefit. Always look how to turn that to the benefit. Hey, our CEO is really afraid of you guys throwing knives. So many CEOs have been afraid of us throwing knives. Even Bill Gates was super scared when we threw them around him at the 4th TED conference that we performed at. Imagine the look and the leveling of the playing field between your 500-person sales team and your CEO when he's standing there having these knives thrown around him. A little bit of a conversation stopper. And a lot happened in that sentence with authority, with social proof, with opening an opportunity that person never even thought of. So, yeah, way more on the triggers to get into. So, and this is a big piece of the Barry world. When we're working together, you're going to see I don't stop. I'm relentless. I tell you, always get the yes or the no. Silence is not a no. Silence is not, I have 50 other things on my board right now, and you're not one of them. When the answer comes from that, when the yes comes from that, it's always preceded by thank you so much for not giving up on me. Thank you so much for staying with me. Thank you so much for keeping on this. Let's go forward. Don't ever stop before you get a yes or a no. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Hey, so in part 3 of this workshop on Saturday, let me cover where we're going to go because I want you to dig into this. We're going to look at the 4 mistakes that entertainers make constantly, and we're going to fix them. And I was just thinking when I was writing this slide today, I'm probably going to bring a 5th because this one really bugs me so badly. I'm going to talk about the one that's kept you stuck forever, and we're going to undo it. We're going to fix 2 of those right during the workshop. And I'm going to spend a little bit of Saturday talking about what life is like when you're living from this place of opportunity and a mindset of action. Opportunity plus action is unlimited. And that's going to be part of Saturday's talk. Share this with your peers if you could. There's power in a group. Bring someone with you. Bring some people with you. You know, someone watched this on Tuesday and wrote a note to me, and he just copied me on it, but he sent his whole list of people who follow him, and it was the nicest note. Alan, thank you so much for that. I really appreciated that note. Meant a lot to me, and I hope some of those folks made it here today. So what's a big takeaway that you have from today? Drop that in the chat. What's a takeaway that you're taking from today and something you're agreeing to? Let me leave that slide up just so you have that. Oh. A big takeaway, and it doesn't have to be your big one. Never a fan of that, and I was probably writing too fast. But what's a big takeaway that you have today? And then we're going to tackle a few of the questions that Annie says she has on her screen in front of her. And I want to see what takeaways you guys have going on today. You know, I put in the email that not so many people watch the replays. I want to honor you guys for making time in your day who are here live. And if you're watching this replay and you got this far, congratulations. You're high in the minority. We live in a world of massive disruption. And the fact that you take an hour to actually spend on yourself and focus on your career, dig deeper, uncover some of the pieces of behavior that have kept you where you're at, says everything about you. So thank you for that. Thanks for showing up for yourselves. So let me see if there's a takeaway today. Got some glasses here. By any chance, is there a recording of the first session? Definitely. The recording of the first session is on the exact same link where the first session played. So head back to that. It's in your emails that I sent you.
Could you talk about which market to target?
Yeah, and I know there was a question about market. I just wanted to kind of see a few takeaways if there could.
Oh, I thought you wanted
Paul said consistency from a guy who's had a 60-year career in magic. I love that you're finding consistency important, Paul. Blows me away.
not sending a single website to everyone.
Dean, I need to make some changes. And someone said, but to research them first and always have a unique proposal specific to the prospect's vision. Amen, brother. Yeah. Yuri, take action. My takeaway. Fantastic. Louis, welcome. Thank you. Great hour well spent amongst like-minded peers. Fantastic. I'm still watching the first session replay, John. Fantastic. You got them both going on two devices? That would be so wild. It's too much berry for any one person.
Not sending a single website to everyone.
Yeah, I read those. This is good. I got them here. Yeah, get back to being proactive and finding about at the events. Amen, Jen. Jen, I'm so glad you're here. Gosh, Jen, holy cow, what she's done. Yeah, getting proactive. You know, and it's funny, I just touched on that, and I want to touch on that one more second. There is a lot of wait and see marketing. There was before. This time, right now, this time coming back, how we could intercept people who are scared, frozen, unsure of what to do, worried about other priorities. If we could get in front of them with a targeted message that literally makes the rest of their week, month, life either easier or unnecessary. That's hero leader work right there. So what past clients do you have? What do you know about those past clients that they're struggling with right now? Is it a local store? Is it a corporate you worked for? An association that you did in the past? A trade association that's gone through an especially hard time? Could you do a series of 3 webcasts for them, for their audience? This is the time to pretend there are no rules for one good reason. There are no rules. You literally get to invent how you're going to serve right now. And that's a reason why the word hero and leadership has come out of this mouth so many times in the last couple of sessions. That's all we have to do right now is be heroes and leaders for our people. And past clients are an amazing deep well that we should continue to serve. Hardest thing you ever did was get them as a client the first time. Guaranteed. You've done nothing harder than every time you booked a show with a client for the first time than that. It is a leap. The easiest thing, going back and serving them again. Stay in those worlds, my friends. Great worlds. Consistency with clients and audience expectations, fantastic. Focus in on what needs to be changed in my approach to marketing. Tim, beautiful. Fantastic. Hey, Todd, good to see you, man. Another guy from way back. ShowBiz Blueprint 1 or 2, I think. Reminder to change the eyes to benefits. Fantastic. Silence is not a no. Yeah, Tim. Holy cow. Never. You guys done that, man? So many times I've seen people, well, I never heard back. Are you even kidding me? Of course you didn't hear back because you matter this much. Except for that hour when you're on stage, when you're everything. When you are literally everything. And what did I say? Show up as you're going to show up on stage. So show up before you're even booked like you're going to show up on stage. Fantastic. I need to stop watching my favorite movies for a third time. Magic Barry, you're so awesome. Oh my gosh, I love that. Our economy doesn't reward apologetic copy. Oh man, Faith, is that something else? Yeah. Use their website's verbiage on them. I love that, Max. So good. Need to drill down on my target market and research clients more thoroughly. Henning Magic, fantastic. Customized proposals. So many good things here. I will not be scared of no. Collect them. Russell, beautiful. Very good. Pizza for breakfast and be a hero with my clients. Louis, live the dream, man. What the heck? If you're at an age and health condition where you can handle pizza for breakfast, what are you doing with eggs, man? Holy cow. Good stuff, guys. So fun. Well, good. I'm going to close up the stage. Oh, there was one thing about markets. I was going to come back to that. Yeah. What do you do if you don't know your market? Really, there's two paths, and you should be following both of them right now as you make a comeback. The clients you've worked for in the past, tighten the marketing, tighten the message, go in with copy and conversations that are free of ego and only based on the outcomes they want. And second, and break this up as you will, 50-50 of your day, 30-70, 70-30, whatever it is, depending on how you want to break this up, but do it consciously. Where do you want to go next? What are you ready for? You know, it's funny, there are guys, well, Renaissances didn't happen last year, but there are people who didn't make the choice to still be on the Renaissance Fair circuit, who I worked with in 1984, who are still on that circuit. They didn't make the choice. They made the choice, there's some acts, the best acts in the world, people I learned more than anything from, Puke and Snot, minstrel groups, just different singers, mud beggars, like acts that taught me about the importance of communicating with an audience who made the choice. Like they're making a mint there and it's wonderful. That said, there's some that are still there and didn't make that choice. Another thing leaders and heroes do is decide their destiny, where they're going, taking what they've learned from where they've been and using that as a catalyst to serve the next market they stepped into. There were jokes that we made at the TED conference that I brought directly from Renaissance festivals. Templates of jokes because they were so un-TED, but they were so humanistically funny. Just a miracle. Really important that you bring those parts of you because they are parts of you. You know, and I said I'd show a quick video, and I just remembered before we jump off, I want to share that with you. Super quick video. This is what I was saying that I would use on that proposal page. In fact, this page that I showed you before, I'll play that video for you, but this is where I summarize every single thing that I learned from those couple stages, the first two stages, the research and connection stages. All of that goes into the proposal. And this is the page that I make the proposal with. You're going to see an overview of this thing. Don't get confused. This is drinking from a fire hose. What you're going to see is probably a deep dive of this is a big piece of ShowBiz Blueprint that we'll be going through in great detail. The social triggers, the psychological triggers, mental triggers, emotional triggers, reciprocity. Every single thing that you see in here has some reason you do it and how you do it and the difference of it for each market. Kind of powerful. So let's, which button's that? This one. Let's dig into this one. Hello, Micro Encoder. My name is Barry Friedman, one half of the Raspini Brothers, and we hear you're having your 30th anniversary celebration at a beautiful winery up in Woodinville, Washington. And after reviewing the details of your event with Asako, we hear you're having a 3-hour event for employees, spouses, and other VIPs, about 150 guests, and you're looking for 30 minutes that's motivational, entertaining, and visual. And while a perfectly fine audience looks like the group there on the left, we're thinking the Micro Encoder audience may want to look a little bit more like the group on the right. What's a Raspini, and why should Micro Encoder care? Well, over 100 events a year, and for that night, yours will be all that matters. We expand camaraderie among your guests. We customize using your products and messages, and we bring humor, motivation, and focus to the night. The tools we use are ones that we garnered from over 200 national television appearances, over 2,000 corporate events, and just for fun, we're 4-time world juggling champions, and we will certainly bring a lot of that to the stage. What will they see? A fully choreographed yet improvisational evening that uses props such as golf clubs and bullwhips, raw eggs, fine china, machetes, frisbees, and to whatever extent you want, the great people of Micro Encoder. What will they feel? Certainly the benefits of laughter, the antidote to stress, pain, and conflict, more connected as a group, relaxed and at ease. And from the message, you're going to know that Micro Encoder is creative and progressive, that you guys celebrate success. Congratulations on 30 years, and they'll continue to count on all of this and more. A couple resources that show we're worthy of Micro Encoder's 30th anniversary, 6-time presenters at the annual TED Conference, over 2,000 corporate shows since 1986. We're Guinness World Record holders. We'll do some of that on the stage. And just below this video, you'll see a link to a 1-hour performance. Get a taste for what it looks like when we really customize, get inside of your business and customize it for that audience. Makes all the difference in the world. Also a link to a letter about our customization skills and how we do that for events. And we will work one-on-one with you and never get lost in the shuffle of agents and managers. Micro Encoder 30th anniversary celebration coming up in Woodinville, Washington. We are the Raspini Brothers, and we hope to see you there. So long. Boom. Yeah. So that kind of stuff. And like I say, there is a ton in there of why you do it and how you do it. I got to read through a few more messages. Glenn, letting go of the past, guilt, and moving forward. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Alan, don't mansplain. Tell it shorthand, man. One time. Wow. Okay. I hope that's something, a lesson you were saying you're taking away, and maybe you're telling me. Maybe I'm over-explaining something. I'm sorry if I am. But As I read that out loud, I'm thinking, did I repeat myself? Anyway, good stuff. Jesse, I always thought of a proposal as a way to build up a huge list of value to overcome sticker shock. I never thought of it as a way to customize copy to meet unique needs. Wow, that's a great takeaway for you, man, for today. Isn't that something? Yeah, proposals right inside their head. And Heidi, who I just loved working with for 12 weeks in a program we got to do. Ready to say no when it's a bad fit. And Glenn, Heidi, send them a better fit. Yeah, how about that? Isn't that a nice combination?
The gig with my co-encoder.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Glenn asked that.
That's right. We did book that, and I actually posted a blog on the way home of that, or a thing somewhere. There was a nice envelope they gave us at the gig. And this stuff always happened, but it was so funny. It was right when I was launching ShowBiz Blueprint, and I was actually talking about that. It was a 2006 version of ShowBiz, 16 version of ShowBiz Blueprint, and I was booked that, and I took that class through the entire booking process. Like, here's what I'm doing here, here's what I'm talking about today. So in the hotel room, they had given us a card where they wrote this totally nice note and said, thank you so much for exceeding our expectations, something like that. And there was 5 $100 bills in there too. So I gave Dan one of them, and it was just an amazing. No.
Alan said your mansplaining was a self-critique.
Oh, that was a self-critique, Alan. Yeah, thanks, and yeah. So that was really good. Thanks for that. Booking gigs, when you're playing it this way, it actually becomes a little bit like fishing in a barrel. If you're doing every single aspect of it, the more you can let go of your ego and the hard times of the hard work of saying, well, this is how I've always done it. This is how I'm going to do it. When you can get to the point when you're truly in service to them, the reason that they don't book you is purely because it's a mismatch of the audience and the offer. It's not you at that point. So it takes playing with your target audience where you're heading. All right, you guys, I want to jump out of this. Let me see. No self-critique, Alan. Fantastic. Jess said, oh my God, that was the craziest, best pitch I've seen in my whole life. Fantastic. We'll be making a lot of those inside of ShowBiz Blueprint. Yeah. Hey, thank you so much. Like I said before, for giving yourself this gift. It's inspiring. It fills me with hope to know that entertainers are ready to play again and ready to jump out. I said it in the first video, but while I retired from performing in 2016, the most important people in my life are still the entertainers, the ones who get out, make a difference, lift spirits, connect messages. The stuff that I got to witness firsthand for 34 years, and some of the best friends I still have in the world are those people. Financially, this is very low on my scale. Doing this doesn't need to be done, but I do need to do this because I know it gives back to the community of performers and they get to shine brighter. And that's a ripple that happens throughout the entire world. So to that end, Saturday, same time, we're going to be back here together. Let me see if I have any other notes I wanted to tell you. Nope, we're going to be back here together. We're going to dig into this experience of what life is like when you understand the opportunity and are in the habit of taking action. It is so powerful. And we're going to dig into 4 or 5 of the biggest mistakes that entertainers make. On behalf of myself and my lovely assistant here, it's a beautiful day. I'm going to go out and hit the bike. Really good to talk to you all. Take care. Bye-bye.